Today, a judge in Fulton County, Georgia, will consider whether the findings of a special grand jury's far-reaching criminal investigation into interference in the 2020 election should be made public. If so, it would have major implications. To discuss that, finding classified documents in President Biden's residence and his possible run for another term, News4Jack's political analyst and head of the Jacksonville University Public Policy Institute, my friend Rick Mullaney. Good morning.
Good morning, Bruce. Good to be with you.
So let's start with what's happening today in Georgia. Analysts have said this inquiry poses the greatest imminent threat to the former president, and that includes the possibility of charges against Mr. Trump and his inner circle. What do you think? Is the clock ticking?
Well, the clock is ticking, and many do believe it is the most eminent, but it's important to put it in context. There are four major investigations of former President Trump. One is out of Manhattan in New York. That one's winding up, Bruce. That is the Manhattan DA. There have been indictments and convictions of the Trump organization and individuals, but not Donald Trump himself. There are two others. Federal investigations with Merrick Garland, one relating to January 6th. The other is classified documents in the search from his home. That is the one, Bruce, that many people thought was the greatest exposure. That may have changed dramatically with respect because of what happened with President Biden. And fourth, Georgia. Georgia has been wide-ranging but very focused in particular on influencing about 11,400 votes and the infamous phone call from President Trump to the Secretary of State in Georgia, as well as an alternate slate of electors. Many believe it's more eminent in Georgia and that the state court prosecutor there is less constrained than Merrick Garland. So we'll have to wait and see. I think you'll expect some indictments eventually coming out of Georgia.
Talking about Fannie Willis there. All right, so the panel voted to recommend that the report be published. And that's what the judge has to decide today with this hearing. So there's some pros and cons about that report being made public.
Bruce, it's very difficult, and it's important to understand the difference between federal grand juries and state grand juries. For the federal grand jury system, it's just indict or don't indict. Some states, like Georgia and Florida, the grand jury can do a report that doesn't include indictments, but it can disparage individuals. It can look into public corruption. It can look into waste. It can make recommendations. Here in Georgia, it's recommended an indictment. So the judge has to weigh a variety of factors. Will indictments be forthcoming? If he releases the report, can it affect the prosecution? Can it affect individual rights? Can an individual in the report be held up to public ridicule without a chance to defend themselves? So there's a possibility he could publish the report. There's also a possibility he could keep it confidential until after the indictment, if there are indictments. And then, of course, he could redact portions of it and release just a portion. Very specialized area of law, not a lot of case law. Difficult decision for the judge.
No telling what Judge McBurney is going to do?
Hard to say exactly what he's going to do. We're going to have to wait and see. I do expect that you will wrap up the grand jury indictments by this spring. So there's sort of a short fuse on this.
All right, let's turn the page a bit. Let's talk about the situation with President Biden, seemingly now between the proverbial rock and a hard place. Initially, thought was classified documents were found only at his think tank. Then the FBI found more classified documents at his home. Fast forward, the FBI did a search and found even more. Given the president's rather public stance on Trump and documents, and now many Democrats, including Dick Durbin, saying, whoa, we've got a problem here. Where does this go?
It is a challenge for the president. There's no doubt about it, and it provides fodder for the Republicans. You now have a special counsel. And Bruce, it's a bad day at the office for any president when you have a special counsel because they're a little bit unpredictable. You don't know what they're going to do. He's had an FBI investigation of his home. Although it was consensual and it was cooperative, it's still the FBI it's searching your home. You have Republicans asking some hard questions. Why were documents found on November 2nd, 6 days before the midterm elections, but it was not disclosed to the public? Why did you hold back for 2 months and only come forward when CBS asked the question? What's in the documents? Was national security jeopardized? And did President Biden actually use these documents? Those questions remain to be seen. For President Biden, it is problematic, and we're going to have to really wait and see what happens with the special counsel.
And beyond that, it shows that there's a systemic problem, but that's a whole nother discussion. All right, and we're coming to a time where it seems the president is going to go public with plans to announce a second run for the White House, probably come after the State of the Union. You have a number of prominent Democrats who were rumored to be considering runs, including California Governor Gavin Newsom, Representative Jim Clyburn of South Carolina, Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg, and some others. Now they say we're going to back him. Senator Joe Manchin, he says he's on the fence. What does this do to Biden's chances in 2024?
Bruce, two parts. Part of it is taking a look at his decision to run. And does this challenge, what's happened with the classified documents, affect his decision to run? And I don't think so. I think in the end, Joe Biden's going to make the decision he's going to make. And many believe he's going to announce he's running. And I don't believe this challenge, and it is very challenging, is going to affect that. However, longer term, does this challenge with classified documents affect his 2024 run? It's too early to tell. We do have many unanswered questions from the special counsel. At a minimum, he may have given up the moral high ground to some extent if his opponent is Donald Trump. At worst, more things could come out. But one thing's for sure, Bruce, we've never seen anything like this in our country. You have a president and an ex-president, both with special counsels, both being investigated, both relating to classified documents, and the ex-president awaiting a decision by the Department of Justice and Georgia as to whether he's going to be indicted. 2023 promises to be a very challenging year for the country.
And we know public opinion seesaws. You know, before the midterms, people would go, no way for Joe Biden. Midterms happened, and they said, oh, now he's got a chance. Then you have this. And 2 years is a long way off.
It is, Bruce. And the midterms changed everything for Joe Biden. This is a challenge for him in the near term, but you're going to have to see how this plays out to see how it ultimately affects the candidacy of Joe Biden.
And we have to see who goes head to head in 2024.
Yes, we do.
Rick, always a pleasure. Appreciate you being here.